I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the stars and cars of the Sim Racers Club Sim Speed Shop Premier Series taking on Kansas Speedway, Kansas City, Kansas. It's a lot of Kansases on that screen. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne. Thank you very much to Connor Baldwin for doing the camera work for us here this evening. We really appreciate you, brother. And Bizzle, we're going to put the track graphic up here, but there is drama tonight. Championship battle, 10 points separating Johnny Avila and Kevin Dick, and Johnny Avila will not be in the show. He's using his drop week. Kevin Dick has a chance to claim this championship outright.
Yeah, all Kevin Dick has to do is get 52 points tonight. If he wins the race, that's 40 points right there. If he wins stage 1, all he needs to do is get, or 53 points, excuse me. All he has to do is finish 7th in stage number 2, and the championship's his. They're not very high goals he has to achieve tonight, just has to have a very average night, and the championship's all his.
Yeah, and actually, it's not even a matter of winning the race outright either, because the way that Kevin Dick has been running this season, it has been a lot of just absolutely point them to death in the stage points. And that's what he's hoping to do tonight. Put up a ton of stage points, and you kind of don't have to worry as much about it. You could have almost a mid-pack finish if you pick up the win in stage 1 and stage 2.
Yeah, I'm going to run the numbers on that, and I'll see where he can finish.
Yes, Bizzle has a spreadsheet. We took away the telestrator from him, and we're making him work a spreadsheet as we'll pick up Tyler Seville, who is out on the racetrack. A lot of the drivers were discussing in the pre-race the fact that the qualifying laps are run so differently from the race pace on these things. It's really going to be tough for these guys. We may not see the outright fastest cars on race pace starting anywhere near the head of the line once we get through qualifications, as Tyler Seville's the first car to get a lap on the board, very quickly surpassed by Andrew Moore, who goes quick time, 31.300. Even faster, Andrew Mraz. Even faster, Kevin Dick, 31.178 seconds. He's a full 10th up over Mraz. J.D. Wardlow going to slot into the 5th position here in qualifications. Richard Fletcher now slots into 5th. A.J. Digby down into the 6th position. Lap number 2 coming to a conclusion for Tyler Seville. He is over the line, and he goes quick time, 31.035 off of turn number 4. What can Kevin Dick do? He's over the start-finish line. Checkered flag is out. Andrew Moore was second quick. New quick time down into the 30s. 30.939. 30.93 with a 9 for Kevin Dick. That is a rocket of a lap. Picking up the 42 of Quentin Clark as he slides to a stop. Hunter Waters on the racetrack right now. He was 8th quick. Only good enough for 8th quick. Tom Wilhite going to slide into position number 9. Let's pick up, let's see who else we have here. Troy Haight is still out on the racetrack. Although he looks like he's coming to a conclusion on his qualifying lap here as well. Let's see who else we got. Tony Patton is still on the racetrack. He has just completed his run as well. Newer face anyway, to the Sim Racers Club Sim Speed Shop Premier Series. That's going to be the Sim Coaches number 88 of Anthony Handley. Lap number 1 is in the books. He's going to be 12th quick at a 31.913. See what lap number 2 is going to look like for Hadley.
So just got finished running up the numbers. If Kevin Dick wins stage 1 and wins stage 2, all he has to do is finish in the 8th position tonight. Now, by qualifying on pole, he loses the hard charger, but almost guarantees himself for leading a lap, which means he can then finish at worst 9th and still win the championship. Each additional bonus point. So if he leads the most laps, gets the fastest laps, and finishes with 0 incident points, he can finish almost in last place and still win the championship. So really, like I said before, he just needs to have a very average night. Doesn't need to go out there guns blazing and destroy the field. Just needs to make sure he keeps it out of the wall and try to finish in the top 5.
Yeah, a very workman-like night for Kevin Dick. And the next piece of the drama is starting to come into play. Just getting word from race control. Stages tonight at lap 30 and lap 65. And lap 65 is when we will see the caution flag. We'll get into that. Well, we can talk about it now here, Patrick, as the 41 of Tim Knott makes his way down onto the pit lane. Kicking a little dust up there. Let's pick up Justin Rideout in the number 8. The reason that lap 65 number is interesting is because the word we got from some of the drivers pre-race was kind of right around lap 65 was going to be the long edge of the fuel window. If this race goes green, you could potentially have to stop before the stage break because remember the pits close 2 laps before the end of the stage. You could have to come in at lap 62 and make a green flag stop if this race goes green the whole way.
Yeah, if you want to push your stop to that lap 65 number, you're going to need fuel save from the time you leave the pits before the green flag even drops. And really try and save as much as humanly possible. Now, if we get a couple cautions in between, then it's not going to matter so much and you'll almost definitely make it, but definitely going to shake this one up.
Yeah, and that does make it a one-stop race as well. Now, you could also stop at lap 60 and make it to the end on one stop. The 60 and 60 would get you to 120. The race is only 117 laps long, so there's a lot of moving parts that are going to come into play the closer we get to that lap 60 number. Justin Rideout, all 3 laps, none of them scored. The number 8 machine will start this race towards the back. Oh, it's the 59 of Jim Thorndike. Slaps the safer barrier exiting turn number 4. Lap number 2 will not score. He will stick with his first lap at a 31.565. Good enough for the 13th position. Lee Campbell coming down onto pit lane. He's another driver. Scored both of his laps. Well, completed both of his laps, but they did not score. The Dawn dish detergent, number 2 of Mike Larch. Has one of those, the ducks from the commercials where they're cleaning the oil-soaked wildlife with the Dawn dish detergent. Got a bird on the side of his car.
You know, it's not only a dish detergent, it's not only a duck detergent. It's wonderful for cleaning car grease and everything off your hands, and I use it all the time to clean aluminum block engines. I mean, that's some of the best stuff out there. They don't even pay me to say that, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, sure. I guess I can go with you on that. So as Mike Larch completes his run, good second lap, good for 6 quick, 31.123. Now on the racetrack will be the 81 of Joshua Salsi. This one, another Jeff Gordon Exalta one, but this one, he's bringing the chrome out for the night race. That is a spectacular looking number 81 machine. He is on the warm-up lap, and he will be the last car to complete qualifications as always in the Sim Racers Club, they will let the clock run out. So we do have 2 minutes until it's time to grid. If you're needing to use the facilities or grab yourself another frosty cold adult beverage, probably want to do that now. South Seas lap number 1, 34.651. Only good for 18th on the grid. 20 cars in total will make tonight's race. Lee Campbell, Justin Rideout not getting scored laps in qualifying, and that will do it for the end of the qualification session. We'll go back to the scenic views here of Kansas Speedway and start to get ready for us to go green flag racing. While we have a minute left here, let's do one very quick commercial break here. Don't go anywhere. You are watching the Sim Racers Club Sim Speed Shop Premier Series right here on the National Racing Network. All right, everybody, welcome back here. We told you it was going to be a very quick break, but a little bit late getting on the air here, so wanted to make sure we get all of our sponsor plugs and thank yous in. We do give the drivers a chance to do those on Victory Lane, and we know that's important to them. We got to get our bills paid too, so thank you very much. We appreciate you all coming to hang out with us here tonight for championship night. Next week, there will not be a race for the Sim Racers Club. It is the off week. They will be doing a recruiting race, though. If you're interested in running with these guys, take a look in the hosted sessions. We'll try to get the information out as well on our social channels. But, yeah, make sure you check them out and take a look here. The Sim Speed Shop Premier Series, always looking for new drivers to come join the ranks. Now it is time to show you tonight's starting lineup for the spring season finale here at the Kansas Speedway. And Kevin Dick is doing the job that he needs to do so far. He claims the pole position, only car in the 30-second bracket, 30.939 seconds. He will be your quick timer here this evening. Lining up on the outside of row number 1 will be the number 28 of Troy Haight. Row number 2 will have A.J. Digby lining up alongside Tyler Seville. A couple of the Will Worsler racing cars trying to do some work here for teammate Johnny Avila, who will not be in the show. Trying to make sure that that 63 team earns the championship and brings the hardware back home to Will Worsler Racing. Row number 3 will have the teammate to Kevin Dick, Andrew Moore Jr. in the Weiss Markets, number 77 Ford Mustang, lining up alongside that Dawn Dish Detergent, number 2 Ford Mustang of Michael Larch. Row number 4 will have the Wolfelt number 42 of Quentin Clark, lining up alongside the number 45 of Andrew Mraz, that Toyota Camry, lining up on the outside of row number 4. Row 5 will have Tom Wilhite lining up alongside Tim Knott, the P1 Battery, number 19, alongside the Gunskins, number 41. Row 6 tonight will be Tony Patton in the unsponsored number 86, alongside the flat, gorgeous number 43 of Richard Fletcher. This car is beautiful, and the image here doesn't do it justice because we don't get the spec map on these graphics. It is chromed to the hilt and stunning. It is a car that you will not want to miss here tonight. Lining up on row number 7 will be Hunter Waters in the Hunter's Fried Pickles, the kind of Tabasco colors, number 7 machine, lining up alongside the Sim Coaches 59 of Jim Thorndike. Row 8, Anthony Handley in another Sim Coaches machine, this one the number 88, alongside of the 23 of Richard Smith II. J.D. Wardlow in the number 48 alongside the Exalta number 81 Chevrolet Camaro of Joshua Salsi. And on the final row, Justin Rideout in the JW Racing number 8 alongside the Mountain Dew Zero Sugar number 4 of Lee Campbell. Neither of those cars getting a timed lap in qualifications. They completed them, but incident points keeping them from earning time positions. Or earning time towards position. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll try to speak properly at some point tonight. Pace truck is off, and as always, race fans, the start of this one going to be all yours. Lap very quickly in the books, and it's going to belong to Kevin Dick. AJ Digby and Andrew Moore Jr. battling for position number 2. Moore up on the high side. He's up on the Kyle Larson line. Not quite to the Harry Gant line yet. Is Quentin Clark now going to slide up outside of Digby? And Bizzle, this may be something where we're already seeing some strategy come into play. AJ Digby is a master of the fuel strategy game. Oh, maybe a little bit of right side romance there onto the 45 of Andrew Mraz. But one of the things that Digby was talking about in the pre-race was run the low line, maybe do a little fuel saving. You could potentially get as many as 70 laps out of a tank of fuel. I don't know that there's a need to get 70 out of it, but if you do the fuel saving, it's going to guarantee you get to 65, and you only have to make one pit stop.
Yeah, it's just going to be so tight trying to really get there. And the biggest thing is not going a lap down, because it is much slower to try and fuel save, run that bottom line. You're going to burn the tires up. I don't know if I want to try and get all the way up there like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy play to say, look, and you have to commit to it early and run the race that way. I have to get X number of laps out of this first run. I have to get 65 out of it. That kind of pushes you then to, because you're not pitting on lap 65. You're really pitting on lap, 66, I guess? Because you have the caution lap, and then you have the first lap under caution is when you would have the pits opening. So you don't have to make 65. You have to make 66. And you can't run out of fuel on that lap either. So you kind of have to have a little bit of wiggle room. It's a big commitment to say we're going to make this a one-stop race, and just that is our strategy play.
Yeah, you have to be committed to it from the time the green flag drops. You can't switch to that strategy later on in the race.
Well, here's the other thing in that. And I wonder if maybe this isn't a mistake by some of the Will Worsler Racing guys. If you let Kevin Dick win Stage 1 and Stage 2, now all of a sudden he doesn't have to do as well. We talked about it. He could be as low as 10th or 11th. Mid-pack is good enough to win the championship. If you fight him for one of those stage wins, try to catch him out somewhere on strategy, something along those lines, or just race him hard, you can force him to have to finish higher up later in the race.
Yeah, they really need to do all they can to take points away from Kevin Dick. He's already gotten a bonus point for leading a lap. He's so far at a bonus point for 0 incident points. That one could change. He keeps swapping fastest lap back and forth to Andrew Mraz, so that's 2-3 bonus points.
And there's a bonus point for leading the most laps.
Yes, that one we can't put until at least lap 59, lap 60 now that Andrew Mraz is going to lead a lap.
Yeah, there are so many possible ways for Kevin Dick to win this championship here tonight. It's almost hard. It's difficult for Kevin Dick to go, okay, all I have to do is X, because there are so many variables attached to X. It's not the old Jimmy Johnson way of winning championships where you have to be 36th or better to win the title. There's actually a lot of different ways he can do it tonight.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing the stage points have brought, is that it's not only where you finish, you have to be good in each section of the race, and it's a lot of points you can earn, and it's a lot of points you can lose as well. It's no longer about winning the war, not the battles. It's you have to win the battles and the war.
Yeah, even if they finish the way they are right now, and again, we're only 10 laps into this 30-lap first stage, but Kevin Dick finishing second as opposed to first means that's one position higher he has to be at the end of the race. A tie is not good enough. He has to overtake Johnny Avila in order to claim this championship. The rationale behind that decision is basically the fact that if we pull up our little homebrew tail of the tape here, you go back to wins. Johnny Avila has 5 wins on the season to Kevin Dick's 2. It's going to be just under 45% of the races that Johnny Avila won in this spring season. And he still might not win the championship. In fact, a 12-race schedule, Avila will win almost half of them and might not win the championship.
Yeah, which is absolutely crazy to think about, but that's another thing that the stage points have brought, is that you can... race finishes don't necessarily... They matter a lot, but they're not super important anymore. What's really important is just running good the entire distance of each and every race.
Maddie checking in the comments. What's going on, Maddie? Hopefully you are having a wonderful night here. Let's bring this one up, giving Lee Campbell some love here. Show him quickly. He runs back in the 18th position. A little bit deeper in the pack. There's that Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Number 4. Another one. Good looking race car. What I love about this is the fact that you look back here and you have Hunter Waters and Richard Fletcher bookending Lee Campbell. They're 18th, 19th, and 20th. But A.J. Digby is just ahead. Digby was up towards the front half of the field. He now runs in the 16th position. They're playing some games here and trying to make these strategy numbers work. If you know you have to make the number, you're on a Will Worsler racing car, all you have to do is finish right behind Digby, and you know you're going to make the number.
Yeah, it also comes down to how you're saving the fuel, though. Just going slower doesn't save the fuel. You have to be good at lifting and coasting, maybe doing the Johnny Avila, pushing the clutch all the way in, or shutting the engine off completely in the corners like that madman does.
So, taking a look here, Kevin Dick now back to the 3rd position as we are halfway through stage number 1. A little bit deeper in the pack here. Tim not having the look on Richard Smith the second. This race is definitely developing the feel of that workmanlike kind of race, Patrick, where you feel your car out, you know what you got, you might be a little good at the beginning of the run, you might be better as the run goes on. You just feel the car out, and at this point you're just logging laps. There's still 100 more to go.
Yeah, still plenty of time to figure out the car, figure out how everyone else is running as well. Get a feel for who's confident in this track, who's kind of shaky at this track, and get ready to make your moves later on in the race.
Mike Larch, Tom Wilhite doing the side-by-side battle off of turn number 2. Wilhite going to have the look down to the inside. Larch almost up on the Harry Gant line. And it's funny when you watch these guys, they are so darn good running that high lane. And then you watch the Coke Series drivers when they run here, and they're up about where Tom Wilhite is. Way up against that outside wall and using that cushion of air to help steer the car. That's not an easy thing to do when you just have no seat of the pants feel.
Yeah, and now I've never used a base shaker. I have one. I should probably hook it up, and this way I can describe the feelings it gives. But I would imagine that would give you some of the feel, but it's not going to kind of shift you in the seat and shift the car the way you would expect it.
Yeah, you almost have to go up to those $1 million, 8-post rigs that are, fully hydraulic actuated and everything else. But even then, you still don't get the sensation of G-forces or anything else up there. But while we have a moment here, let's do a big thank you to all the sponsors of the Sim Racers Club, including Sim Speed Shop. You can find them at simspeedshop.com. Hardware going out the door tonight to one of our champions, or to either Kevin Dick or Johnny Avila, depending on who wins the championship. Also got to say a big thank you to Northland Leisure. You can find them on Facebook at Northland Leisure. Find them they are in the Pass, Manitoba, Canada. All your leisure needs for a year's worth of adventure. So says the blurb that's up here on my screen anyway. Check them out on Facebook at Northland Leisure. Thank you very much for putting up the cash for the stage winners this season. Realty Executive Saskatoon putting up the award for the fastest lap of the race. Also, Custom Paints and Diecast putting up an award for the Hard Charger and the Biggest Loser each week. Thank you all for your support of the Sim Racers Club as we're working lap number 23. Tim, not
Johnny Avila has more Sim Speed Shop equipment than he does ramen noodles.
He did win a bunch. Actually, he gave a bunch back after last season and said, hey, I'll take the wheel. The wheel is a great prize. I want that one. But the button boxes, there's only so many button boxes that a person needs. He gave them back and said, hey, do another safe driver draw. So pretty cool of Johnny. And that's one of the things that Sam and Jordan do running this league. They do a safe driver draw for prizes as well. That's just absolutely huge because that rewards the drivers. A race with 0x earns you entries into it, and I think even like if you have a race with 1x, that can earn you entries as well. It's all laid out in the Premier Series rulebook, but pretty cool thing there to reward the drivers that show up and run without incident.
Yeah, it's a big incentive to run these races clean, and as we've seen so far, it's what these guys do. I can't think of any notable race that's had a ton of cautions except, Martinsville? Which Martinsville is going to Martinsville. It's short track racing. You're going to get cautions.
Yeah.
So these guys put on a just fantastic show.
Let's give the shout out to Mike Larch in that number 2 machine. We'll bring him up on the screen here for you. 5 races, a total of 1 incident, which is just absolutely unreal. Amongst the full-time drivers, Kevin Dick is the cleanest of the lot. He has, in his 11 starts, a total of 10 incidents over the course of that. You figure you get a 2X or a 4X with contact. He's running the vast majority of these races completely clean. And quite frankly, that's how you win a championship.
Yeah, you can either win it the Ross Chastain way or the everyone else way.
Well, Johnny Avila would be winning it the Ross Chastain way. He is 20th out of the 25 different drivers that have run in the league this season with 41 incident points. He averages 3.73 per race.
Well, you have to remember, during the Daytona race, me and him made contact approximately 15 times. And I don't believe I was at fault for any of them, which surprises me even more.
Pick up Andrew Mraz, your race leader, by 1.8 seconds over Quentin Clark, as we are going to be down to just 2 laps to go here in stage number 1. Getting the job done here at the head of the line. It's another 1.2 seconds back to Kevin Dick. He has Andrew Moore Jr. and Troy Haight all over the back end. 3, 4, and 5 are pretty much nose to tail, but thus far this race has belonged to Andrew Mraz.
Now, the winner of the stage is determined when the lap counter hits 31, so it's at the conclusion of lap 30, correct?
Correct. At the conclusion of this lap, that's when the stage points will be awarded. So green and white checkered flag goes in the air, and Andrew Mraz picks up the win here in stage number 1. Kevin Dick will finish 3rd in the stage. So update the spreadsheet there, Bizzle. That will be good for
Already done.
8 points.
So points as they run so far. Kevin Dick is up to 48 points. He needs 52 to tie, so if the race were to freeze right now and we were to score him in 3rd for stage number 2 as well, he would be the champion. So on his way to winning it, but can't jinx him just yet.
Yeah, he's getting there. That's the big thing and I would imagine that's kind of a stressful way to drive, is to just go, I'm not there yet. It's not there yet. And they talk about drivers hearing every noise and rattle and everything inside of a race car. Over the final laps of a race, it's almost like he's going to do that for the entire 117 laps.
Yeah, the biggest thing is he has to be consistent. Now, we were doing the math. If he finishes 3rd, and 3rd, he wins it with no bonus points. So, really, he just has to keep doing exactly what he's doing. Not push like a madman, try and get back in the lead, but not slip back any further. Just keep doing exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, that's the big one, is just, well, and you hate to say it this way, but don't screw it up. All you have to do is make your number, hit the point, and the championship. It's kind of the Penske perfect methodology. Do the little things perfect, the big things will come to you. So you see it here. Andrew Moore Jr. almost running protection for Kevin Dick. And this is all these guys have to do, is hang out, tail in line. They're about 25 laps away, I guess, from at least where you might think about your first and possibly only pit stop of the race coming. And quite frankly,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Kevin Dick is really going to have to go for the Leighton Prost strategy of this, of win it with as little effort as possible. There's no reason to go full Senna and run it. You have to just hit every little thing. He's already earned 2 bonus points so far. One of them still on the fence. Could get an incident during the race, but doesn't seem likely so far.
You know what? You almost have to not even count that one until the end. You don't want to have to rely on that bonus point, because even an oddly timed bump draft could be enough to trigger a 2x. And now that bonus
Yes.
point goes out the window. Troy Haight having to look to the outside of Kevin Dick into turn number 3. He'll get that pass completed. And again, that's sort of a no harm, no foul at this point for Kevin Dick. Taking a look at the Will Worsler Racing crew, the highest running of them is Tyler Seville in the 7th position. That's not going to be enough. Now you start to get back a little bit deeper in the field. Here you have Hunter Waters and AJ Digby. I don't think this racetrack is long enough that you can get away with a green flag pit stop and not losing a lap. And I don't know, maybe this is the strategy where one of the Will Worsler cars, if you're Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore Jr., decide you're going to stop at lap 60, all it takes is one of the Will Worsler cars to not pit under the caution, and there is no free pass.
Yeah, they would, whoever does it would screw themselves by not pitting. It would almost be like being the sacrificial lamb, but if one of them does it, it completely ruins the race for Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore. And could ruin their opportunity for winning the championship, but who is that sacrificial lamb going to be?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty big ask of anybody, quite frankly. As we'll pick up the battle here with Tim Knott and Justin Rideout. Rideout, I don't believe will be, well, I guess he attempted qualifying, so he just didn't get a lap in. But taking a look at the most positions gain chart, Justin Rideout.
I do believe you need to get a lap in. I have the rule book up right here. I will double check that for you.
Okay, there you go. So Justin Rideout up 11 positions. Andrew Mraz, your race leader, is up 7. He had a fantastic early stint in this one. Joshua Salsi up 7, Quentin Clark up 5, Lee Campbell up 4. Ticking ever closer to that lap number 65 mark. I really wish NASCAR would go to this methodology for their stage breaks. Only one of them will have a caution, and it's going to be randomized at race start. It allows the race to flow. There's no need to have a caution at lap 30 just for the sake of a caution at lap 30. I get it gives the TV people their commercial breaks and all that kind of stuff, but
I am not sure if he's eligible for the Hard Charger prize. All it says there is drivers must qualify to be eligible for the prize, but qualifying is not required for the bonus point.
interesting. And I would think he attempted, we're discussing Justin Rideout here. He ran both of his qualification laps, just neither one of them scored. So I would think that counts. There you go. As I'm about to start typing the message, and Bizzle is already checking in with race control on whether that does count for the hard charger bonus. Tyler Seville starting to make his way forward here at lap number 44. He's up to, well, I say he was working his way forward. He was 7th. Now he's back to the 9th position as Quentin Clark comes around Andrew Mraz. The battle for the race lead off at turn number 2. Mraz going to run the inside lane. Clark high, wide, and handsome through 3 and 4. They will have the car of Richard Smith II just up ahead. Smith already 1 lap down. That would be to put him 2 laps behind your race leaders. Looks like Anthony Henley in the 88 may be out of this race early on already. He is still on pit lane for an extended service. J.D. Wardlow also on the racetrack. He made an early stop here, and he is 3 laps behind your race leaders. Let's see, we'll move a little bit further back in the field here. We'll pick up, actually, this battle is going to be a good one. Tim Knott with Tom Wilhite all over the back bumper. Just a couple of tenths ahead is Tyler Seville in the 9th position. You almost wonder here, Patrick, if this is one of those deals where the Will Worsler guys just did not get a handle on these race cars here tonight, because obviously with it being a fixed setup, it's not necessarily going to suit your driving style, but these guys seem to do really well kind of week in, week out, and they're just not there on outright pace. I mean, Tyler Seville almost 9 seconds behind your race leader.
Yeah, I am not sure what's going on. I did not hop into the Monday practice like I usually try to do. So I have no idea who was in there working around and who wasn't. So maybe this is the first time they're coming into this, especially if we look at the number 7 of Hunter Waters. He didn't even realize we were at Kansas till tonight. He had it in his head we were at Darlington. So.
Yeah.
Almost a Carter Lundy scenario going on there.
I know nothing. That's a Hogan's Heroes joke for those of you that are under the age of 65.
Has your AARP check come in yet?
I'm a card-carrying member of the AARP already, I'll have you know.
How are you now?
Oh, yeah, you don't have to be over 55 to join AARP, and the discounts are fantastic.
I will keep that in mind.
Justin Rideout, Joshua Sousa, Mike Large is who we're following now. 6, 7, and 8 on the racetrack. 9, 10, 11 running not too far behind these guys. As we are working lap number 51, the gap holding steady at the front of the field at, call it 4/10 of a second. It was just a tick over a half second or so between Quentin Clark and Andrew Mraz. But I'll tell you what, that gap is definitely starting to shrink here as Mraz working kind of, we'll say, the middle groove through 3 and 4. Lap number 52 will go up on the board this time. Just back behind here, Troy Haight leading Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore Jr. And you almost wonder a little bit here, Patrick, is this a case of maybe kind of we'll just hold on, take the little bit of drafting help and try to sip some fuel here, because not a lot of urgency out of Kevin Dick to try to get around the 28.
Yeah, I'm not sure he needs to be urgent just yet. Yeah, he would want to be before the stage ends. Like I said, the number he has to or wants to hit is 3rd in each, and it guarantees him the win. So by finishing 4th, he would have to finish the race in 2nd to guarantee himself that win.
Well, and things are getting interesting here because the gaps are shrinking from Troy Haight, Kevin Dick, and Andrew Moore to race leaders Quentin Clark and Andrew Mraz. And there's still 12 laps to go in this stage. So, quite frankly, a fair bit of time left here for Kevin Dick to try to make up some ground. Then the other big question becomes tire wear, because these guys have been now running these tires for 54 complete laps. They were talking about the right front being the area of concern. If you drove the car too hard into the corner, you'd get the right front cooked. It was just not going to work for you to want to steer the car. But you had to be careful of the right rear on corner exit as well.
Yeah, this is a track that's known for being fairly loose on exit, so definitely have to be very patient on the throttle and kind of roll into it, almost like a sprint car.
Speaking of the sprint car, iRacing, please give us Anderson Speedway. We know it's scanned. Finish it up. Drop it out there. Let's get a real proper little 500 here with the pavement sprint car at Anderson Speedway. I'm calling it right now. NRN will put that race up in a very big way if Anderson Speedway releases as part of the June build. But the gap holding steady now at about 1.5 seconds as Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore Jr. both come around Troy Haight, and they are chasing down the leaders ever so slightly. And now we're starting to get to that window, Bizzle, where we're talking about, do we see a pit stop before the stage break? That would have to come no later than lap number 63. I think it's too risky of a strategy for Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore Jr. to try. But maybe somebody towards the back, that could be an avenue that they decide to go down.
Yeah, that would put you, provided you didn't go a lap down, that would put you at the head of the field come on the restart.
And even if you went a lap down, everybody's going to be stopping here, so... Battle for second, Kevin Dick inside of Andrew Mraz. He's going to take Andrew Moore Jr. right with him. Kevin Dick now up to P2. And the gap is inside of 9/10 of a second to race leader Quentin Clark. Oh, here you go. Andrew Mraz going to try the strategy call, as is Troy Haight. Lap number 60 is on the board. They are on pit lane. Can race leader Quentin Clark make it to the end of the stage? Tim Lee Campbell also on pit lane.
Kevin Dick is catching Quentin Clark in a hurry.
Yeah, this is almost playing out exactly where Kevin Dick wanted to see this one. Now let's see where where Andrew Mraz re-enters the racetrack. He is going to be a lap down, coming out, call it about three and a half seconds back of where the race leaders were as they were exiting pit lane. And Quentin Clark heading for pit lane. That's going to put Kevin Dick to the head of the field. Andrew Moore Jr. falling off in a very big way.
Is Kevin Dick able to make it? If he runs out of fuel, this could be catastrophic.
Yeah, I don't know how race control would look at drivers pushing one another over the line. But lap number 64 is now on the board. 2 laps left in stage number 2. And Andrew Moore Jr. really falling back now.
clutch and coast.
Yeah, you could hear him. One lap to go in stage number 2. He can hear him. He is full coast. In fact, let's go on board with Kevin Dick.
Not hearing a sputter yet.
Full clutch through turns 3 and 4. Grab a little bit of throttle. The minimal amount possible, but it's going to be enough. Green and white checkered in the air. Kevin Dick wins stage 2. Joshua Salsi coming around Andrew Moore Jr., as did AJ Digby. When 10th place comes over the line, there's the caution flag. Kevin Dick picks up the win in Northland Leisure, stage number 2. And that changes the math once again.
Yep, he has earned 18 stage points so far.
I'll tell you what, actually, Kevin Dick needs the field to get packed up here, like, quickly. Because I would imagine he's going to have to hit pit lane this time.
Which means, at worst, Kevin Dick can finish 7th and win the championship. If he finishes 8th, he ties. No incident points, he can finish 8th though. As well as if he gets the fastest lap or leads the most laps, which I believe is still open, unless... Did Andrew Mraz or Quentin Clark lead 59 or more?
Let's see. Well, Andrew Mraz has the fastest lap of the race, as your race leader is on pit lane. Kevin Dick, AJ Digby, Joshua Salsi, Andrew Moore Jr., Tyler Seville, Justin Rideout. You see them there on the left-hand side of your screen. Everybody is on pit lane. And this will very clearly be a 4-tire change. You see the jack go under the car. The right-hand side for Kevin Dick. Quickly down around to the left. It'll be 4 fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles. 2 Kansas Sunoco Racing fuel going into that machine. Kevin Dick is down and away 15.4 seconds, and he will be your race leader. AJ Digby second off a pit lane, followed by Tyler Seville, then Andrew Moore Jr. But Quentin Clark did stay out on the racetrack, so we'll see where he's going to cycle through. I would think he would, well, yeah, I guess he would slot in wherever it was he came around. Looks like Quentin Clark is going to restart this race in the 3rd position. And again, they do have the choose rule, so that's another one to watch play out here. Well, there we go. Now Quentin Clark, let's see, he is starting to fall back. He is back on pit lane. So field getting lined up behind the iRacing safety truck. We'll see who will be your race leader. Well, we know who the race leader is going to be. That one's going to be Kevin Dick. But we'll see how the rest of the field will line out here as we get ready to come back to the choose rule at the start-finish line. Working a very nice lap number 69 here under the caution flag.
Nice.
Let's see. Let's see if we can't do a quick word here with our championship contender here, Mr. Kevin Dick, and we'll bring him up here into the booth with us. And Kevin, congratulations on the win here in stage number 2. You're getting the job done. You got to be feeling pretty good there with that 52 machine.
Yeah, just I don't know, race sort of played out the way we hoped to for the first half, so just gotta stick to my guns here. Gotta just try and keep that right front on it. These things get pretty tight here, but I think we can do this.
Yeah, and at this point now, it's going to be a full-on Pie-Eyed Racing versus Will Worsler battle at the front here. It's kind of like this one's going to be a 50-odd lap shootout here, and it's really not 117. You got 50-some to go.
Yeah, I mean, definitely gonna pick my battles. I know I don't have to exactly win the race, but just, you know, I gotta stay up front and make sure I stay up there, so try and do that and see where we come out here at the end.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. We appreciate you jumping into the booth with us here. I will work on getting you dropped back down to your room here. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Bizzle. So,
No problem.
field getting lined up, ready to go. It will be Kevin Dick and AJ Digby on the front row. Justin Rideout, Tyler Seville on row number 2. Seville will restart on the inside, and the 8 of Rideout on the outside. Andrew Moore Jr. lining up inside of row 3 alongside Hunter Waters. This is really going to be a full-on Pie-Eyed versus Will Worsler battle here over these last handful of laps. Into the restart zone. Kevin Dick on the throttle. He is away, and he'll be clear by a car length as they get to the start-finish line. Tyler Seville already down inside of AJ Digby. He was shot out of a cannon on this restart. The big thing here, we've talked a lot about the armada that is Will Worsler Racing. But unfortunately for those guys tonight, Patrick, they don't have enough cars. Kevin Dick can finish behind all 3 of them that are up here towards the front and still claim the championship.
Yeah, when he was in the booth, I wanted to tell him the number, but he didn't ask and didn't sound like he wanted to know. But yeah, he has to finish 7th or better, even if as they ran, he dropped and took over spots with Joshua Southey.
Oh, we've got contact down the back straightaway. Caution is out for the second time here this evening as Tim Knott goes sliding down to the inside of the racetrack. Oh no, and he's beached. Oh, what a tough break for Tim Knott. Let's take a look here and see what happened on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Oh, a little bit of contact with the 45. The 42 was involved as well. That's both of our race leaders throughout stage number 1, Andrew Mraz and Quentin Clark getting involved.
So you see some of the Will Worsler guys getting below that apron, trying to cool the tires down a little bit.
Yeah, this is the last thing you need is I almost want to say a partial heat cycle. You didn't even really get the tires fully up to temperature, I don't think. And then you're going to go right back under caution again. Although you have mentioned, though, that the NASCAR tires that they have modeled aren't as susceptible to the issues of heat cycling like we see in some of the Formula cars.
Yeah, they're pretty resilient. You don't normally have to worry too much about them. With heat cycling, you do have to worry about overheating them, but they don't seem to get super hard just from cautions.
Well, we'll see what's going to come here as this race develops, because now we are past the halfway point here. So we'll swap this over to laps to go so you can see just how many are laps left. And it'll be 43 remaining this time by the start-finish line. 3 of the 4 Will Wursler racing cars are in the top 5. And actually all 4 of the cars inside the top 10 with Richard Fletcher running in the 10th position. Whole lot going on here. The other one that I really like the way this league runs, Patrick, is it's not just a spring season championship that's in play here. This is round number 12 of a year-long 36 race schedule, which...
Yes.
Again.
But from what I understand from the rules, only your best 11 races out of the year are counting for the overall championship, the year-long championship.
Really?
Yep, the Grand Championship will be determined by points for the best 11 events of all 3 seasons combined. Oh, maybe I'm interpreting that wrong. It's your best 11 of each 12 individual.
Correct.
Weeks.
So your points total for the first 12, plus the points total for the second 12, plus the point total for the third 12, gets you your number. So as we come back to the choose rule, choose cone, what are we going to call that? There's not actually a cone.
I think we should get me in a Legends car. We could probably get a great camera angle from that, too. And I'll drive out of the pits, drive backwards, and sit on the start-finish line. Let them choose.
Oh, that'd
if
be
they
awesome.
hit me, you go to the back of the pack.
That'd be awesome. I can just imagine the carnage from that. I am fairly certain one of the Will Wursler guys would take the opportunity just once to absolutely send you to orbit.
I believe we both know which Will Wursler driver that would be.
I can see Tyler doing that as well. But yes, I would think Johnny Avila would be the guy who's like, you know what? I'm not having a great night anyway. Adios, amigo.
Send me out of the park.
So the field's doubled up. It's going to be Kevin Dick, Tyler Seville on row 1, AJ Digby, and Justin Rideout on row 2. Hunter Waters, Andrew Moore Jr. on row 3. Row 4 is going to have Joshua Salsi and Tom Wilhite. Nice run for Wilhite inside the top 10. Fletcher and Patton will be row number 5 for this one as we're into the restart zone. Green flags back in the air. Underway once again here, lap number 77 of 117. How about Andrew Moore Jr., 3 wide off at turn number 4. Oh, baby, right out. And Digby, oh, they almost make contact again.
And Digby kind of forced him up going, hey, you can push me down here, but I'm coming back up.
These get little split. Oh, there's contact again. Wow, what a save by Rideout and Digby. Oh, Digby! Down through the grass! Keeps the foot in it!
He saved it!
What a save by AJ Digby!
Dirt Track Digby, that's what we're calling him now.
Oh,
holy
man.
Cow.
Now, the question is, was there help?
He pushed up into the side of the 81, I believe, and that sent him around.
Well, let's take a look. The Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay.
Yeah, no contact with Rideout.
Yeah, may have been contact with Salsi, actually. Oh, man, but now AJ Digby's got a world of work to do He is the last car on the lead lap, 7.5 seconds back of the race leaders. Quentin Clark was wrecked not too long ago. He's now battling with Hunter Waters for the 6th position. The 45 of Andrew Mraz being scored 1 lap down after the contact. And right now at the head of the field, Kevin Dick is kind of in manage the pace mode, I would think here. He was actually last lap a tick slower than Tyler Seville. 31.296 to a 31.167. Seville's lap only 5/1000ths off his fastest lap of the race. Kevin Dick about a half second is slower than his optimal race lap. You can definitely feel the intensity picking up a little bit here as well, Bizzle. You're getting towards the end of the race. You don't want to be too far back, too late in the show.
Yeah, you definitely need to keep yourself up there, but you also have to keep enough tire on the car to make something happen in the race.
Yeah, this is kind of not what Kevin Dick wants to see. I think he would much rather these cars get even more spaced out than they are, because a bobble isn't going to cost you 1 spot. It could cost you 6 or 7.
As well as if these guys come out and have a caution, well, that brings Tyler Seville right up to Kevin Dick, which seems to be what he's doing anyway.
Yeah, he's closed the gap down now to 1/3 of a second. Andrew Moore Jr. very much in chase of Seville down the front straightaway, though. This is the most outright pace we've seen out of Tyler Seville all night. Tells you how much fuel saving they were doing early on. And quite frankly, probably a little bit too much fuel saving.
Yeah, but they kept themselves in the lead lap, and here they are towards the end of the race in the fight, so I'm not calling it a bad strategy call at all. Although they did lose out on taking away stage points from Kevin Dick.
Right. That's where my bigger concern is for them as a team. Is just, you know, you have to finish ahead of this guy and take as many points away as possible. And it just didn't happen there in stage number 1. And now Andrew Moore Jr. looking inside of Tyler Seville. Just by Moore racing him hard, that can force Seville to use up a little bit more right front tire. And maybe that's all the gap that Kevin Dick needs at the end of this thing.
Yeah, Andrew Moore Jr. effectively playing the bully, the blocker, the bouncer outside the club, just trying to keep these Will Worcester Racing guys back, make them use their stuff up. Andrew Moore kind of being the sacrificial lamb of High-Eyed and saying, hey, I'll use my stuff up. You go out there and make sure you win this race, buddy.
Yeah, and it's not a huge thing for Moore to... If you give up 0.5 every lap, or 1/3 of a tenth every lap, all of a sudden that gap just starts to expand. You don't have to run slow. You just have to run not as fast as what the leader's pace was going to be.
Yeah, just force these guys to run suboptimal lines like he's doing right now to Tyler Seville, making him try and go down low there, burn his tires up so he can't make a final lunge towards the end of the race. And you can see how effective it's working. It's stacked the next 10 guys up right behind them.
Yeah, and at some point, patience is going to run out. Oh, man, saw Quentin Clark bounce it off the safer barrier in turns 1 and 2. That's when, like, we're talking about patience running out. It's like, man, I'm going. I'm not playing this game of hanging out and waiting here. And all of a sudden, it's, I remember hearing Martin Brundle talk about this when discussing Ayrton Senna, saying he put you in a position where either you could back off or you would crash. But it was never his fault. And that's kind of what Andrew Moore Jr. is doing right now. Force Tyler Seville to either make a big move and chance wrecking himself, burning his stuff up, whatever, or he's got to back off and stay behind.
Yeah, it's really playing into kind of the mind games chess aspect of racing.
And this is where, quite frankly, I think a guy like Tyler Seville does really well, because he's very strategery-minded anyway. So if he said, hey, if you're going to run this pace, I'll just run the pace then. I believe this is Johnny Avila checking in the comments here. Giving out a Let's Go WWR from 63 Car Dude. Someone needs to do a post-race inspection on the 52. The hood louvers were bad.
May have been a loose nut behind the wheel, too.
Yeah.
Hey, one hell of a fast nut behind the wheel, though. He's still just hanging out there up there in the lead.
Yeah, Kevin Dick getting the job done right now. Even if he gives up the lead to Tyler Seville. Okay, ho-hum. There's no point in him fighting Seville if Seville decides he wants to make the move. It's almost like he has to try to pressure Dick into a mistake. With lap times hovering right around this 31-second mark, we are less than 15 minutes away from the conclusion of the Sim Racers Club Spring Championship season. Kevin Dick is doing what he needs to do to steal the championship away from Johnny Avila here in the final race of the season. It was only a 10-point difference entering tonight's race, and with Avila not on the entry list, that meant that basically this became Johnny Avila's drop week, and it was a 10-point difference, and 41 for Avila was his 42 points was his lowest scoring round of the season. So Kevin Dick needed to make up 53 points, I believe it was. Let me check
he
the
needed
spreadsheet.
He needed 52 to tie, needed 53 to win.
Yeah, tie is not good enough for Kevin Dick, because Johnny Avila would win the championship on the race wins countback.
Tyler Seville just trying to put the pressure on Kevin Dick, just force him to make a mistake, because that's really their only chance left. That Kevin Dick makes a mistake, puts himself into the wall, and ends up way back in the pack.
Yeah, because an incident for Kevin Dick at this point would be catastrophic. 13 cars remain on the lead lap. That's not far, that's too far back in the pack at this point. AJ Digby currently runs in the 13th position, 8.5 seconds behind your race leaders.
Now, you definitely don't want to dump Kevin Dick. That's just plain game. But forcing him into making a mistake is fair game, and it's a tale as old as racing itself.
Yeah,
So,
that's not one of those, that's not the kind of guy Tyler Seville is, at least from the conversations that I've had with him. He wants to win, but he's not going to, do something dumb and affect the outcome of a championship that way. And quite frankly, Johnny Avila wouldn't want to win a championship that way either.
exact. And you kind of just got to sit and put the pressure on Kevin Dick. And at this point for Johnny, he just has to sit back and watch whatever soccer game he's at and hope Kevin Dick makes a mistake. Because some soccer game is more important than winning the damn championship.
Oh, that's fantastic. Everybody else behind, pretty much single file, so we're going to stay right here with this fight for the lead and the championship.
I just want to say, everyone behind Kevin Dick is also not at a soccer game right now.
That is correct. It's, well, quite frankly, everybody.
Yeah.
Depending on which game it is, there could be better attendance at this race here tonight as well. Thank you to everybody
From the victory setting, the grandstands are about half full.
Yes. We haven't used this one in a while. If you are a soccer fan, you can send all of your hate mail to bizzle@nationalracingnetwork.com.
Don't get me wrong, I love watching the World Cup, but the other 3 years of the calendar, I don't want to see it. It's a nice treat every once in a 4-year period, as Tyler Seville is trying to make another lunge for the lead.
Seville making the big dive through 3 and 4. He's going to slide up the racetrack, but has to back out of it. He would have pushed all the way up into Kevin Dick if he didn't back out of it there off of turn number 4. Down to 14 to go. This one very much not in the bag yet for Kevin Dick. One season ago, Patrick, this championship came down to a head-to-head battle between Kevin Dick and Johnny Avila. That one ended with Avila claiming the championship in actually what was a tighter battle. I believe they were tied entering the final race of the season.
They were tied going into it, but Kevin Dick unfortunately getting taken out in the first caution of that race.
Trying to put those demons to bed. Exercise the demons. It's going to stay right about at 3 car lengths. Call it a 2 off of turn number 2. You almost have to wonder, did Tyler Seville use the stuff up trying to get past Kevin Dick? Or is he saving it for that kind of last lap bonsai move, maybe just doing a little testing of where the move needed to be?
Yeah, just seeing if he can get into Kevin's head as well. Kind of see if he can get him the bobble, see if he can force him into making a mistake, and seeing if he can exploit that later on.
It was a pair of 5-finger salutes at the start-finish line last time by, signaling 10 laps to go from Wiggles and Giggles up on the flag stand. Call it 2 car lengths at the line as Kevin Dick continues to hold off Tyler Seville. Joshua Salsi runs third, 1.5 seconds back. Andrew Moore Jr. about another 0.7 of a second back in the 4th position. And then it's another 2.5 back to Hunter Waters in 5th. So no real movement here towards the front of the field. This just has that feeling of Tyler Seville biding his time, wait for the moment to be right, and then absolutely pounce when the time comes.
Yeah, just wait for the door to open a crack. As soon as it gets a little bit open, you have to just truck your way right on in.
Oh, and Seville's in the
get into the
wall.
wall.
Tyler Seville bounces it off the safer barrier, exiting turn number 2. I don't think he hit it hard enough to do any damage.
Nope, just hard enough to make some sparks.
Yeah, just hard enough for us to see it. As Andrew Moore Jr. is on pit lane. Could fuel be a concern here?
Oh, that would be devastating.
See how long Andrew Moore Jr. stays stationary for. 6.2 seconds. He took the can of fuel and he's off and away. This was a shorter run than the first stint.
Yeah, I almost wonder if there was damage on that car.
Possibly, because there's only 45 laps that these drivers have run to this point. Oh, Seville looks inside. Wow. Dick slides right across the nose of Seville. Gosh, if I'm Kevin Dick, just let him go. I know you want to win the race and the championship at the same time, but oh man, it's just not worth the wreck that could come from it. Three laps to go in the spring season. The gap is 0.3 of a second between Kevin Dick and Tyler Seville. The other big one, this may not go 117 laps. If the yellow flag flies between now and the white flag being deployed from the flag stand, this race would go to overtime.
This is freaking intense.
The gap is almost 0.4 between Kevin Dick and Tyler Seville. Oh, and Seville bounces it off the wall again. White flag is out. One lap to go. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. It will be uncontested for the race win. Off at turn number 4, checkered flags in the air. Kevin Dick is a race winner and a champion in the Sim Racers Club Sim Speed Shop Premier Series. what a drive from Kevin Dick.
An absolute perfect run. Did everything he needed to do, didn't push it too hard, just went out there and ran what looked like a completely flawless race.
There it is, well earned. Kevin Dick burning him down at the start-finish line. That custom paints and diecast number 52 Chevrolet Camaro was spectacular tonight. Did everything he needed to do. Let's take a look at our race results as Kevin Dick continues the party. Tyler Seville, Joshua Salcy, Hunter Waters, Troy Haight are your top 5. 6 through 10, Justin Rideout, Quentin Clark, Tom Wilhite, Tony Patton, and Jim Thorndike. 11 through 20 going to be Richard Fletcher, Andrew Moore Jr., Mike Larch, Andrew Mraz, and Lee Campbell to 15th. All the cars remaining 2 laps or more down. Richard Smith the second, J.D. Wardlow, A.J. Digby, Tim Knott, and Anthony Handley. Man, I'll tell you what, Patrick, we asked for a show, and we got one. Kevin Dick going to try to bust down the door to victory lane.
I think he's doing the Chad Knaus and just put some dents in all the fenders, so when Johnny Avila goes and tries and techs it, it can't be teched.
Well, that one didn't work. Let's see. What other opening can we find to try to put this race car in? Somewhere to get us into the infield. So let's start getting our, actually, Bizzle, if you can handle the dragging, we'll get all of our drivers up here into the waiting room. Oh, he almost got into the infield there. Let's see here. I think I can get, okay, yeah, here we go. Let's bring in our race winner and the newest champion in the Sim Speed Shop Premier Series, Mr. Kevin Dick. And, man, congratulations. A fantastic drive tonight. A great season. Man, you got to be jacked up over there, bub.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to find pit road, or victory lane, but all I do is keep running into invisible walls.
Yeah, it's not quite like Phoenix that you can pull into kind of wherever and find your way through the infield, but man, this race tonight almost played out as perfectly as it could have for you guys. You and Andrew were a consummate team, and it was a lot of work for the both of you to make sure that this 52 ended up in victory lane.
Yeah, we had a good strategy for that first stage, just trying to make sure that we were making it to the end of the stage 2, and then we had enough fuel to get to the pits. And seeing those other guys check out there at the start, I knew they weren't saving gas, so I knew we would get, I'd give up a couple points in that first stage, but then we'd gain it back in that second stage. So, I mean, stage points, right on where I wanted to be. And yeah, Tyler there on the end, I mean, he was putting the pressure on, but I just made sure I hit my marks. I just did not want to overdrive the corner and end up smoking the wall coming off. So
yeah, you had a couple of close calls there with Tyler. Anything at all making you nervous there with how close he was running with you, and even a thought of let him pass, it's not going to matter anyway?
I thought about it, but I don't know who's gonna give up a win when you're right there.
That's exactly it, man. I'll tell you what, this season was spectacular, is about the only word we can use for it. In 12 races, 3 poles, an average start under 4, 3 wins on the season, an average finish of right around 4th. Every race inside the top 10. It was a picture of consistency and getting the wins when they were there for you to take advantage of them. Congratulations again. Just an absolutely fantastic season for you.
Thanks.
Well, and now before we let you go here, you got a shot to do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous. And looking forward. Enjoy the off week, and we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Yeah, give a shout out to guys at Pie-Eyed. Just me and Andrew, work together real great here. Definitely paid off big. Give a shout out to Cousin Paints Diecast and Jordan there, painting great cars. Give a shout out to you guys up in the booth for calling great races, and to Jordan and Max for running an awesome league.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to check in with us up here in the booth, and congratulations once again. And let's bring up our runner-up finisher here tonight, Mr. Tyler Seville. And Tyler, you gave Kevin about all he could handle in this one, and ultimately just, less than a second back, but still a really good run tonight for that 11 machine.
Yeah, I tried. I was just messaging Johnny. I was like, I tried every lane I could to get by him, but he just didn't make any mistakes that last run, and that's what it was going to take to get by him.
Yeah, it was going to take getting past him, and then even still for the championship, it felt like early on you guys were playing a little bit different of a strategy game because you were running towards the mid-pack. AJ and Hunter were back there a little bit as well. It felt like there was a coordinated effort to play a strategy game that you could kind of use that to flip the tables and force Kevin to work harder than he had to.
Well, really, it was more of just an experiment to see what the tires would do. We knew on the bottom lane that you would save tires the longer that you would go and be able to make up time. But if Kevin gets out there to an 8-second lead like he did, at the end of the day, you're not going to make that up even by running the bottom. So after stage 2, we all just kind of like reset and we're like, okay, we have good track position because we saved gas. Now we're here to play.
Well, I tell you what, play you did. That was a fantastic show tonight for that number 11 machine. And congratulations on the podium finish tonight. And before we let you go, make sure you get all your big sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, shout out the Chubbies, and then shout out to my teammates, Hunter, AJ, and Fletch. I saw AJ had some issues, but everyone else had pretty decent runs. Shout out to Johnny and Will. Hopefully they were watching. And shout out to you guys for putting on a great broadcast for the season.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate the kind words from you. And let's bring in Joshua Salsi, our third place finisher here tonight. And Joshua, I'll tell you what, the car looked pretty darn good tonight. It seemed like you were either towards the front or towards the back, and there was not a whole lot of in between for you.
No, I'll take the hard charger award. Coming into the race, I really wanted to see if I could make long run strategy work with the bottom. So I didn't even really try and qualify, and I knew if I was up and near the front, I would end up get to racing and kind of ruin what I was trying to do. And then looking at the fuel, I knew I didn't want to be real racy just in case we didn't have the lap 30 caution, which we ended up not having. So it was a mindset of thinking about the end result instead of the beginning of the race. And I did everything I wanted to do except mess up my pit stop and lose my 0x because the 14 bounced off me and went through the grass. So I can't really complain 18th to 3rd.
Yeah, it was a heck of a drive. Congratulations on it, man. It's been nice to finally get to talk to you here after one of these. And before we let you go, make sure you get all your big sponsor plugs and thank yous in, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, I want to say hi. I really thought I was going to be able to talk to you guys last week, and I got really excited when something happened to the leader and burned my right front up and ended up popping it with 2 to go. So I ended up losing out on being able to talk to you guys. Really looking forward to the next couple seasons. I know I joined here a few weeks back in the league. I've been having a lot of fun. So big thank you to all the admins and fellow drivers that make this league go around. And I'm really looking forward to trying to compete with some of the heavy hitters for season 2 and 3. It should be a lot of fun. Big shout out to Nitro Racing and all my buddies at Turtle Shell Motorsports. And everyone who tunes in and watches what you guys do. I watched a few of your broadcasts before I got in here. You guys do excellent work. So I look forward to watching this one selfishly. And even if I hadn't done well, I look forward to watching it anyway. You guys do a great job.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate the kind words. And there you go. There's Joshua Salsi, your third place finisher here this evening. And man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, we got a heck of a show out of the Sim Racers Club Premier Series, the Sim Speed Shop Premier Series here from Kansas Speedway tonight. Congratulations to Kevin Dick. He was perfect tonight.
Yep, did everything he needed to do and a little bit extra, scoring 59 points tonight when he only needed 53. So definitely had a nice safety net to fall back on if Tyler Seville did in fact pass him. But like I said, everything he needed to do and got it done.
Yeah, and quite frankly, that becomes big the later we get in this season. When we talked about an overall championship being decided on a 0-point margin entering the final race, that's a big 7 points to have in your back pocket here and say, hey, this is already a lead that I have going into the last 2/3 of the season.
Yeah, you really need to get all of those points as you can. Even if you don't need them right now for each individual 12-week season, you're going to need them at the end. So every little advantage matters.
Yes, it does. And these guys are going to get a well-earned week off following tonight's race. We will be back in 2 weeks, heading off to, let's pull up the schedule, and it will be, there we go. Starting off the second third of the season, this is going to be a crazy schedule for these guys. Starting off Wednesday after Memorial Day, heading to Darlington Raceway for a 130-lap race, followed by 175 laps at North Wilkesboro, and then the biggest race on the calendar, 200 laps at Charlotte Motor Speedway, running their version of a shortened version of the Coke 600, followed by Gateway, Daytona, Nashville Superspeedway, Watkins Glen, Atlanta, New Hampshire, Pocono, Richmond, Michigan. Man, there's a whole lot coming up on this one tonight, or this upcoming season for these guys. Coming up tomorrow night on the National Racing Network, it will be the U.S. Open Wheel C-Class and D-Class races coming to you from VIR. Those are going to be a blast to watch. I love watching the open wheel cars rip around VIR. And then we will be back on Monday night with the Silver Crowns and the TNT Shock Series coming up early part of next week. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. Fantastic show tonight. Congratulations to Kevin Dick, the 2023 Sim Speed Shop Premier Series Spring Season Champion. And from everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows possible, including my buddy Bizzle, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us tonight, everybody. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night.